Hi there. I'm now not in my kitchen, but in my best friend's Rosalind's kitchen, and she has agreed for me to come in and cook this dish for you, which I devised out of desperation because I could never follow recipes. This is a quick way to cook either turkey breast or chicken breast as a schnitzel without going through the dipping of the egg, the flour, the breadcrumbs, the egg again. I have initially done this chicken breast. I put a little bit of soya milk, and I did put a bit of Moroccan seasoning and a bit of curry powder. I did this overnight because the secret is when this is marinated in milk or soya milk overnight, it tenderizes the turkey or the chicken breast, which can normally be a bit tough. But now I will put in the egg and I will put in some rice flour. Now I'm using rice flour because it is very light and it's not too heavy and it doesn't stick. It works well. So I mixed it all together and I just swirl this so that it gets soaked a little bit and absorbed. Just add a little bit more. Then I will put some breadcrumbs. So this is a one dish schnitzel preparation without the problem I have in dipping it separately. The only thing that this needs after you could leave this in, I think this has to be left, I'll put this in the fridge for about an hour. The only thing that must happen is that when you fry this or when you deep fry it, the oil has to be really, really hot so everything gets cooked quickly. Because if not, this preparation will totally be a disaster, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to leave this, I'm going to cover it, cling wrap, and while this is in the fridge, I could leave it out, it's not a very hot day today, I'll leave this out, and I'm going to make a simple pizza using Turkish bread. Okay, we're ready to fry the chicken breast. Now, I forgot to tell you, I normally forget things, but I remember a few minutes later. This is a harissa sauce. It's very spicy and it's lovely. So what I did is I put a few dots on my chicken breast, which has been marinating. I think it would be just about an hour. If you can see these red, that's harissa sauce. And I discovered this watching Jamie Oliver. He's given me lots of ideas and I love him because he removed my fear of cooking. I was a terrible cook and I hated the kitchen for many, many years. But then when I discovered I could actually do something useful, I learned to love cooking and I learned to love kitchens. And that's why I'm using Rosalind's. So now I think the crust is ready to, it's burnt. So I think I'm going to be brave enough to put, oh yes, isn't that a lovely sound? Great. I'm very excited and I should give Rosalind all of this as a thank you for letting me use the kitchen. It's not as boring as using your own. That's why I like to go to other people's kitchens. Look. Woohoo! Rosalind, I'm sending out a message that I will be coming here more often. Welcome. One thing we did not learn to do in Singapore was learning where food came from and how to cook it. All we did was eat. Everything was centered on food. If you went to a party, they would ask you, how was the food? If you went to a wedding, was the food good? So all we did was eat, but we didn't realize that eating too much would eventually make us sick. So I have learned to make healthy food. I don't like to eat out very often, and I enjoy everything I make because I love it. And that's the last piece. Now look, this is the easiest way to make schnitzel without going through all of that. Pots, you just put everything in one container, and best overnight if you can. And it is so tender. I think Rosalind will be extremely happy with this. I will definitely get an induction stovetop because it really saves time. I didn't realize how quick this is. Amos, isn't it good?
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is exciting. Now, you'll find by putting rice flour, it's not as heavy. And a little bit of egg, a little bit of the spice, it really, and then you can top it up with lemon or lime, or you can add parsley, you can make it look even better than it does, but really all you really need to do is use the right ingredients, make it simple. We're not all master chefs, though I do envy their skills, and I would love Po to make me her curry. Oh, it looked amazing. I can turn this off, and then I will clear up the kitchen because I never like to leave a mess. And Rosalind, you will love this. All right, I'm going to prepare a very, very delicious way of having an alternative to buying pizza. You can use Turkish bread, you could use sourdough, you can use focaccias. Now, Rosalind has threatened me that I have to make something for her when she gets back. So now we're going to have lunch, and I believe, and Amos is going to join us, and I'll show you what I've done. Initially, I've put flora. I'm not advertising, this is what I use. And I put some of the butter there, the flora there. Then I use this lovely tomato puree. It really gives it a nice kick. Now this is my very favorite ingredient, and I love it. I couldn't live without it. It's Razorback mustard, and it's spicy, and Amos loves spicy, I love spicy, and Rosalind loves spicy. Rosalind and I were raised in Singapore where everything has chili. So this is what we must have with every dish. So I've done the base. I'm now going to add grated cheese. This is any cheese. You can put any cheese. You mix it, you could mix it with Parmesan. And what I do is I buy blocks of 1 kilo, of a 1 kilo size, which is much cheaper. I divide it into half or 3 or quarters. I freeze the balance and I use it. It's much. I would think it's half the price if you buy it in 1 kilo box. I didn't know I could freeze cheese until my niece told me. So there. So what I've mixed some mozzarella, cheddar, Colby. So that goes on top. Now, some people like the cheese on top of the tomato and the mushrooms, but I'm doing it this way. Then I could add a bit of tomato. And you can use shallots. If you grow them, even better. It has a it's very strong when it's fresh, so I don't use a lot. It's 12 o'clock. All right, so now the last thing, you can use pepper, but I think with that Razorback mustard, it's not necessary. Now the last thing I do is I add a little bit of Proactive. I keep thinking Flora because that's what I first used. So add that. You can add parsley. At the moment I didn't have any fresh ones, so I'm just using it as it is. And then I'm going to pop them in the griller, and we're all going to try it. You can try this at home, it's very safe. Now, it's been in the griller, and look, it's lovely and crisp on the outside of the edges of the bread. And I'll pop the next one in. Now, wouldn't you know, Rosalind's just walked in. I think she could smell this. She's been out shopping. So what we're going to do, she's going to have that for dinner. And she's going to have a nice salad with it. Right?
Right.
Right?
Yes, boss.
Okay. Then I'm going to put this cheese in the griller. We're going to have a nice lunch and a cup of coffee. How's that?
Not a glass of wine.
No, it's too early for wine.